and I am just excited to continue to talk mission with you. So I'm going to give it a couple minutes as people start to log on and Facebook gets set up here. But how are you guys all doing today? I know for us, you might get distracted. There is construction going on at our house, so there is, saws going, hammers, as we're updating our girls' room. So I hope it's not too distracting and that the noise cancellation can maybe drown some of that out. But I am excited to continue to share my favorite part of this company, and that is mission. So yesterday we went over why having a mission is important in your house, and now today we're going to be learning how to even choose a mission if you don't have one, and then how do we even bring it into our home? I know that gets a little confusing. So that is what we are going to go over today, and I hope that I can inspire you to a mission if you don't have one, or how you can actually implement it in your home. And so I'm going to be asking later on in this episode, if you have a nonprofit in a space in your house that you're thinking of, we're going to go live brainstorming. So I'll be real open and vulnerable with you guys as we brainstorm. But that is the fun part about how we're bringing missions into homes. It's brainstorming what is that design element that we can bring into the home. But first, we have to have a mission. And not all of us sometimes have a mission, or we never even thought about it. And there's so many to choose from. Where do I even begin? And one of the things that I came across, I actually bought this book for my girls, and it's Making a Difference. Found it at the American Girl doll store when I was shopping with our third girl getting her American Girl doll. I saw this and I immediately thought of my kids. And my oldest, I will tell you, ate this book up. She read it so quickly and was so inspired into how she can make a difference even being only 9 years old. And I wish that for all of us. So I did take some tips from this book. Highly recommend getting it for your kids to get the conversation started. But the first thing we're going to do is take you in different avenues. And I actually grabbed some paper here. This is an exercise you can do now or do later. But what you're first going to do is you're just going to simply draw a circle in the middle and write mission. So this is going to help us start to find, missions that we love. And when I think of missions, there's different categories of nonprofits or instances that we can support and be passionate about. So each of those will come off of that main circle. So I have on my notes here, I have 5 different missions or types of missions that we could support. So you're just going to come off of there and start drawing these circles. And the 5 that I have, right, you can support the environment. So I put that in one circle. Social, right, different social nonprofits. Medical, these are where your cures and stuff will go. Animals, which is where my daughter went right away. And then more global issues. And so I know this is really messy. It's meant to just be a sketch for you. So we start to break out what different missions could be. And then we dive deeper. So if you are someone that tends to want to really support the environment and that is important to you, just head to that bubble. When we start branching off of that bubble, even deeper of a specific nonprofit or mission to go after. So you could have climate, right? You could have, what other things? We could have energy. You could have disaster relief. And you just start filling those out. And you're only going to the ones that you are drawn to. So we could fill this whole thing out, and I will try to actually fill one out for you as an example that you can get later on if you're coming back. But when you're thinking about social, right, you have different missions about age, race, inclusion, human services, different equality, religious. Those are the kind of things that will fall under social. And when you're talking about medical missions, think about different diseases and cures for those, or research or support for different diseases. Accessibility, getting research completed for medical research, and healthcare. Those are just some examples of how to dive deeper into the medical field. When it comes to animals, you have pets. So that'd be more like the Humane Society or endangered, and protection for animals. So those are just ways you can go deeper there. And then finally, the fifth category I had was global. These are where you start to talk about refugees, education, clean water, how to bring business into different economies. So this is just how I broke it up. This is how I started my map, and this helps me to see the bigger picture and then start diving deeper into the areas I'm drawn to so that I can finally find, I am passionate specifically about this mission. And whether you want to find a nonprofit to support, or if you just want to be an activist for that mission, either option is fine. It's just finding something that you can have bigger purpose in. So that is a little bit about mind mapping if you don't have a mission yet. So start diving in, even just Googling medical nonprofits, and you can start to see some of the subjects or the missions that are being covered in those. Or I want something to do with animals, so animal nonprofits. And you can start to just research, well, what do you care about? What kind of things do you want to do with your gifts? Just start asking the question so that way you can come around together as a family to support one bigger mission. And then what I love about this book that I have here is once you kind of figure out where you're headed, they give different ways you can support, which I found really insightful. So you can do different art to support them, or you could teach about them, have activism with it, or the simple volunteer for a nonprofit and support them that way, or through donations. So there's different ways that you can support a mission. It doesn't always have to look the same, and there are a multitude of different ways to find that bigger purpose. But I just urge you to take the time to find something that you can put purpose into. And then what we do at Lykke Haven is we bring it into your home. So this is the part where I'm asking just for participation and what nonprofits you guys support, and give me a room, and we're gonna just start whiteboarding. I used to do this at Disher, and we had a whole whiteboard, and so I got bit by that whiteboard bug of just sketching. And even though I'm not the best sketcher, but just brainstorming, and it's just fun to see things come alive. So we're gonna do that here today. And when I told my husband I was gonna do this, he was like, "Are you sure you want to do this?" And I told him, "Well, give me an example that you think is gonna be difficult." And he actually gave me Humane Society and then doing a master bath. And how do you bring those two together? And he was actually floored that I figured out a possible solution. A little odd still, but a possible solution, right? You could have a candle that you kind of enhance with maybe a dog collar with your pet's name on it or anything like that. So yeah, he was just surprised I could figure out, not that it's the best solution, but it's just to get the brainstorming going is what is fun to do. And I also want to kind of talk about, it's not that you need a mission for every room in your house, because that gets just to be all this mental clutter. It is really about choosing maybe one that your family can support and go after and find purpose in, and just implement it in one of the public spaces in your house. So one of those rooms that you're all in all the time to remember. And then if, let's say, you're interested in something different, maybe you add that mission to your more personal space. So I know I've done this before where we'll implement a mission into the living room that the whole family supports. And then when it came to my client's specific office, we implemented a mission that was really all about her and what she was passionate about. So it was more personal to her. So we added it to her personal space. But not every room has to have a different mission. Otherwise it will get cluttered in your home. But so we have on here Gilda's Club, and just where are we going to be implementing in the home something for Gilda's Club. If you want to type that in, and then we'll get brainstorming. So while you're typing that in, I'm going to just verify and look up Gilda's Club. So I am familiar with them. They are in Lowell, and I know we have Laugh Fest, but I always like to start with a little research of who the nonprofit is. So just typing in. Okay, so going on their website, so our mission. As the largest professionally led nonprofit network of cancer support worldwide, the cancer support community is dedicated to ensuring that all people impacted by cancer are empowered by knowledge, strengthened by action, and sustained by community. Like I said, I know they always have Laugh Fest. So just kind of scrolling through, getting to know them better. It was actually, the history of it was because of Gilda Radner, who was actually a comedian. So that is why they have Laugh Fest, because it's all about laughing together. Yeah, and on their little logo here, it says, "In this together, learn, share, and laugh," for Gilda's Grand Rapids. So all about laughing, comedy. There's the infamous red door. So just starting to think through how we can do this. So this is for a Four Seasons room. So I'm imagining people coming together, a lighter atmosphere. Okay, so this is where it starts to get fun, and we start brainstorming. So you start grabbing a piece of paper, and you can do this at home if you want. You can send me a message. I'd love to just be creative in how you can actually implement a mission in your home. So a couple ideas that come to mind right away are the infamous comedy microphone. So like I said, I wasn't the best sketcher, but I did love brainstorming. So no judging on my ability to sketch. I know our industrial designer at Disher would be laughing about now at me, but that's okay. All in good fun. So I'm imagining this like vintage microphone, and I'm just drawing it here just to kind of spark ideas. So I have this microphone here, this vintage microphone, and already ideas are coming to my head. So if you have a cabinet in your Four Seasons room, right? Usually cabinets, whether there's a TV on top, have, you know, a couple doors and some shelves. And how cool would it be if you had a inlay in your door? Okay, let's see here. A metal inlay. So then you would cut out of the metal those lines of the microphone here, and then that circle could be red. So I have a red here. Okay. So, like I said, we're doing this on the fly. This will be a fun video to even watch later to get some ideas. So, okay. So here's what I'm kind of imagining as one of the options, right? You have your stand that a TV could be on top of, and this inlay, right? Sometimes you'll see that metal grate. I'm imagining it's metal, but the lines of the microphone are cut out, and then that circle in the middle, painting it red, because Gilda always has a red, you know, for cancer, and then the red door. So this is something you could do that would be really interesting and not so obvious, which would be fun for the space. Another really simple idea that came to mind, if you have a door on the Four Seasons porch on the inside where it is in the Four Seasons room, you could paint that red, right? So it doesn't affect necessarily the rest of the home, but inside the Four Seasons room, you could just have a simple red door. So whether you have glass in it or not, or if it's a solid door, painting the inside of the Four Seasons porch, painting it a red door. Or having a red door as a piece of art in the space, depending on how the room is put together. Another idea I just had, kind of combining the two. Yeah, you could have, okay. Like I said, I just love this. Okay. So imagine starting, this is me quickly sketching because I know I don't want to take up too much time. Okay, a red door, right? And then imagine on top of the red door, maybe you have this, okay, I'm going to draw on a separate piece of paper. You have this piece of art on top of the red door. So it's a framed piece of art. And you have that microphone, that vintage microphone, still again off to one side here. And you know, you could even grab one of these microphones and make it 3D and stick out from this piece of art. And then what you could have the red circles still on the microphone. And then you could just have this almost like graffiti, between graffiti, chalkboard type feel to the background, and you have just like all these jokes going back and forth. And at the bottom you can have, what was the 3 words again? It was learn, share, laugh. And you could have those at the bottom of this. So not the best marker, learn, share, and laugh. So you're almost like putting this piece of vintage art on a red door background on your wall. So it's a very large piece of art. And you have a microphone, more the vintage style, and you could even make that 3D by putting one on here. And then you have this like almost blackboard graffiti, depending on the style of the room. And you're having these like different jokes that are told. So it's something fun to read. And then you have their learn, share, and laugh at the bottom there. So those are just a couple ideas. Obviously, you want to make sure that it goes with the style of the room. And this was just a fun brainstorming exercise to show you guys that you can take anything and start being creative with how you actually implement it in your space. I know a couple that I've done. So there's the obvious one of art, and that one is in my post. You can see that on one of the images there. I've done a coin on a planter. So there was when my client loved her trip to a hiking trip that was healing for her. For Outward Bound is the mission that did this. So it's just supporting of different military people, and she had a lot of growth and a lot of healing on this trip. So we took her coin and we put it with a leather strap, and we made it look really nice, and we put it on a planter and put a plant on her desk. And now she can always remember the growth that she had and how important the by supporting Outward Bound is for questions from people that come into the space. You know, that's like TV that looks different. Tell me about it. And now you get to share about Gilda's Club. So these are just some of the fun things that I get to do. I get to sit with families, help them just start the conversation of missions. And if you're looking for any local ones, check out my post. I do a really fast slideshow of a bunch of different missions in the area. And start with your mind map. That's the action step for today, is get your mind map going as far as what type of missions do you find that you're passionate about, that you and your family can be passionate about. So starting with the 5 main categories, looking into environment, social, medical, animals, or global, and start there. You know, what are we really passionate about? And then start diving deeper and deeper until you find something that you're like, yes, we can go after this. Let's find a nonprofit. Let's be activists for this. I know my daughter, she chose to protect tigers. And so she just drew up all these posters, these beautiful posters, and pinned it up at tennis. So we were at Premier Tennis. That's where she does lessons. She just pinned it up. And she's already starting to make a difference. And that is so fun. So we're doing her room. That's the construction that you're hearing. And in that room, it's 2 of my daughters, and they each have their own separate spaces, their own lofts. And so if that's the nonprofit that, or the mission that she wants to support with her personal area, then by all means, we've already talked about, hey, let's make a really fun picture of a tiger and put it on her bookcase that's in her loft. And now she will be constantly reminded that it's important to support something that's bigger than herself. And that is just so exciting to watch your kids' face light up and to realize that at such a young age, and then bringing it home with you and having it in one of your family spaces, something that you guys can all come around. I urge you to just start diving in. What missions do you guys love? And if you want help in how to actually bring them to life in your home, please message me. I would love to brainstorm. I need to, make my own whiteboard room here now that I'm not at Disher anymore. But I love sketching things up, sketching ideas up, and being creative. So I'd love to hear how the action step went with the mind map with you and your family, and then what mission you guys chose. And if you need any help, I would love to help. Tomorrow, I will be covering some of the missions we have in our family, although I've already shared some of them, but we'll just start diving into what we support and how we put that into reality in our home for you. And then we will be moving on to that third word. And we'll start going into why connection is so important on, Thursday. I'm losing my days already. So, but please join me. Share this video with anyone that you think would find it interesting. We're always trying to grow our community and how we can inspire you to bring these words to life and create your own Lykke Haven. Once again, Becky Vanell with Lykke Haven, and I hope you guys can join me tomorrow. Have a great day.